welcome to the Paper Snob. This is Tara. Today I am working on Scraplift Crafternoon. This is a weekly hop every Sunday afternoon at noon Central Standard Time. I have a tribe of friends who scraplift along with me, and each week one of us chooses a layout from somebody in the crafting community to scraplift. This week Karen chose Vicki's layout, who is Scraps for Days. I'll have those links that you need to check out Vicki on Instagram. She is an Instagram user. If she has a YouTube channel, I will link that down as well. If not, then it'll just be her Instagram account. So our goal with this hop is to help others find new YouTube channels or new users to Instagram and help them build their channels. It's just kind of a way that we like to give back to our community. And sometimes we don't manage to find a new one during the week, and we'll find somebody who has lots of followers. And that's great as well, because we still want to help all of our crafty friends out with their channels and Instagram accounts. So I'm going to pop this layout up here in the corner. It is a fun Disney grid layout, and I'm going to tell you I'm going to kind of rebel a little bit, not doing Disney. I'm going to follow this layout as best as I know how. I'm going to be using Vicki Bouton's Foundations cardstock for my foundation of the mixed media. This is probably the cheapest watercolor set that you can find. I believe I got it at Walmart. If I didn't, there's one just like it for around $5 at Walmart. Works wonderfully, has lots of different colors. And then I have product from some Assemblage Required and American Crafts Cedar House, which I also bought from some Assemblage Required when it came out. I have some stamps here. This set is from Tim Holtz. This is a Vicki Bouton stamp, and this is another Tim Holtz stamp. I have not pulled my inks out yet because I'm trying to decide what color of ink I want to use, but I will have some probably Distress Oxide ink to play with here in a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and get started creating this layout. I hope that you will join us and watch everybody in the playlist that's below, and check out our Instagram channels or accounts as well, because we also post other stuff than our Scraplift Crafternoon videos on those channels. So we would love it if you would check out our Instagram accounts. We all love comments, subscriptions, and likes. Please do that for us. It helps us build our channels as well. So I'm going to go ahead, pause this video. We're going to get started.
So the very first thing I'm going to do is use one of those circle stamps from Tim Holtz and Rusty Hinge Distress Oxide, and I'm going to stamp my grid. And I am winging it and holding my breath as I do this, hoping that I can get these on here pretty evenly. And I think I do a fairly good job with that. Now notice that I am not getting as clean of an image as you would expect, and I am good with this because this is a mixed media layout, and as far as I am concerned, this is not that big of a deal. It just, because I'm going to be adding watercolor and there's going to be stuff in the middle, it just doesn't matter all that much. But like I said, I think I do pretty good getting this grid fairly even. Now I am turning the stamp as I go so that those outer rings don't all go the same direction, and it just makes it a little bit more eye-catching in my opinion by turning it different directions as I stamp. I am trying to get a little bit more in the middle of some of them, because some of them won't have a whole lot in the middle, and of course some of them are covered by my photo. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with the stamping portion of this layout, and this is great fun to just kind of play and not have a whole bunch of rules. I really enjoyed this part. So next I'm going to go ahead and use this water brush, and I have added some water to it already off camera, and I'm just gonna put a pretty good sized ring all the way around each of my stamped images. Now, this was a lot darker than I expected it to be. I expected this to dry a lot lighter than it did. I even continued adding water, and I blotted as well. But it's a pretty strong background and looks pretty good with the photo that I have chosen. Now, the photo that I have chosen is of my second born son, who is a U.S. Marine, and he is deployed in this photo, and I don't know who took the photo, but he shared it on Facebook or texted it to me while he was deployed. I don't remember now, but he made sure I got the photo because he knows that I like to have photos like that, and he just made sure that I had that photo. Now, I have two of the photos, and one of those photos was printed in one of those groove books, and you've heard me say before that I'm not particularly crazy about the quality of those, and since I had this digital file still, I went ahead and reprinted it with my Epson PictureMate. So now I'm taking this raindrop stamp, and I'm just kind of stamping it randomly, and I put the photo on there just so I know where it's going to land, so I don't stamp in places that it's going to cover. And so the second stamp, or the third stamp that I'm using, this is a middle to a flower from a set of Vicki stamps, and that is going to be my background. So the next step is a step that I typically leave out of my videos, but for some reason I recorded it, and so here you go. I am going to gut this piece of paper. I believe this piece of paper is just a stack of vinyl records, and I'm going to gut it. I'm going to leave a 1-inch border all the way around, and so I line it up on the 1-inch mark, and then I cut from 2 to 11, or 1 to 11. On all four sides. Now, I will have to use my scissors to finish getting it out because I wasn't quite accurate with getting it trimmed. Sometimes it pops right on out. Sometimes I have to just clip it a little bit with my scissors, and that's good. Now, the other thing I did off camera is I trimmed my background paper before I did the mixed media, so there's I think it's about a 1-inch margin all the way around after I glue that mixed media on top of this page. I just wanted to give this a little bit more color and use a little bit of pattern paper. I love pattern paper, and like many of you, I have a lot of pattern paper, so I like to try to add it as much as I possibly can on a layout. And having a little bit of trouble lining this up, it's going to be all good. I get it on there, and then the next thing that I do is I take my spare washi tape and I'm going to tape down that background. But first, I'm trying to get it to lay a little bit flat before I do that, so that when I tape it down on the back, it will be flat. And it looks like I wasn't happy with how I had it lined up, and I'm going to reline that up and make it a little closer to even. I don't know why. Sometimes I have trouble with this part, sometimes I don't. That's actually why I typically do this off camera, so you don't have to watch my little struggle bus going on here. Alright, now I'm going to bring in this washi tape. This is just a washi tape that I got from We Create. It's super, super cute, little elephants. But I know that I will never in a million years use up that full roll on scrapbook pages, so I just stick it in this little tape dispenser, and I use it for things like this. And if I want to use it on a card or a layout, it's pretty handy. So now I'm just kind of getting that background turned in the manner that I want it to show on my layout. I'm going to mat this photo using the B side of that pattern paper. And I will also use a punch to go ahead and punch out, I think it's 3 circles that I end up punching. And I use the vinyl record side for those pieces. But I'm just going to eyeball a little bit of a mat here, and I just use my trimmer edges to line it up, and sometimes I have to go back through and trim a little bit more off like I did here. but I'm pretty good at eyeballing it at this point. So that little tiny square there on the left, I am actually going to use my punch and punch out circles. So I'm only going to use those 3 circles, and I am going to use the vinyl record side. But first, I'm going to go ahead and adhere my photo to my background now that it is finished and ready. And yes, there is quite a bit of buckling going on this page, and that happens when you use watercolors. This is Vicki Boutin foundation paper, so it would be a whole lot worse if you used regular cardstock for something like this. It just a lot of times if you do something like this, if you have the time, you can allow it to dry and then turn it over and let it fully dry upside down. You can also weight it with books. I don't really worry about that too much. I just go ahead and work on the layout, and then once I put it in the page protector in the album that it's going to end up in, that will eventually flatten it out over time, and that's good. So I don't think I mentioned these little gears and sprocket looking things that I have here are from a Sizzix die. It has the gears in a couple of sizes, and it has a couple of other little pieces. It's a Tim Holtz die, and it's one that I use quite often. And what I do is I will cut out a whole bunch of them, either in a very thin chipboard, or I will use pattern paper, or not pattern paper, cardstock. And then if I've used chipboard, I paint them, and then if I just use the black cardstock, I skip that part, of course, but I will use splatters from my Distress ink, my Distress Oxide inks, and I will make splatters and splashes all over them. And so I have a little bit of a mix of both cardstock and chipboard ones, and I'm making sure that I put the ones that are card or chipboard underneath my photo, and that'll give it a little bit of lift as if I had put some foam adhesive underneath my photo mat. I am also distressing these 3 circles. I'm making a visual triangle with the 3 circles, so it's only going to go behind 3 of those gears, and that just kind of gives a little bit more pattern paper and color there. And I keep a bunch of these little things just to play with, and so I almost used up every one that I had. So next I'm going to go ahead and put the photo back down, and then we're going to go ahead and finish doing some embellishing. So I did use my ATG gun for the initial adhesive for this photo, but I decided to go ahead and use the Nuvo Deluxe glue in the corners as well, just to make sure that it sticks very well to the mixed media and the chipboard on this layout. So I typically make sure that I put my title on my layouts before I do any major embellishing. Because I was building this grid layout, there's already quite a bit of embellishment on this layout, but before I continue to work, I'm going to go ahead and get this title down because I want to make sure that I have room for it. Now, again, this is Cedar House from American Crafts. It's a really cool, grungy collection, and I am using the title pieces from the thicker set, and now I'm looking for a couple of phrases to go on my layout as well. Now, I will go ahead and use some foam adhesive under those stickers just to make sure that they are level with the photo and the background, but for now I am laying them down on top of that photo. And I think that the phrases that I chose for this layout are pretty on point with the subject, which is of course my son being deployed. And anyway, I really enjoyed playing with this collection a little bit and kind of just making a nice grungy layout. Now I am creating an embellishment cluster along that right hand side of my photo with some of the stickers, and now I'm going to go ahead and add some of these acrylic pieces from some assemblage required. They do have the backing on them still, so you will note that I am not gluing them down first because I need to take that backing off of them, and I'll do all of that off camera. This product is just amazing. I adore playing with some assemblage required's product, and I will put her store link down here in the description box below my video so that you can check out some of her stuff as well. I'm having a lot of fun playing with all of this grungy goodness and just adding bits and pieces, and I'm going to try to use up as many of these little pieces from these sets that I have chosen to play with as possible. I know that it's kind of a lot, but I really like the embellishment clusters that I am creating
All right,
here.
I got this layout fully glued down. I used glue dots for the acrylic pieces that you saw me add. And these acrylic pieces did come from some assemblage required. They are amazing. And if you purchase from her, tell her that I said hello and that I sent you to her page, and I will drop a link to her shop below. She's got some really fun grungy stuff, as well as some really cute Pooh and Friends stuff down there and other things as well. I want to thank you so much for coming to my channel today. I really appreciate those of you who take the time to like, comment, and or subscribe. You guys are helping me to grow this channel, and I would love to have you as a subscriber if you are not already subscribed to my channel. If you have comments about this layout, just drop them below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Make sure you check out that description box below my video. There is a playlist as well as links to our YouTube channels and our Instagram accounts where you can see other things that we do during each month. And I want to thank my team for putting up with my crazy moving schedule, and I hope that I'll see you guys soon on the other side of this move. By the time this video airs, I will be about 4 days out from driving towards our new home. And looking forward to unpacking my scrapbook stash again and creating in my new place. You guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Bye.